Hello guys, welcome to Movie Battleground. It's obvious I've been training often for my next big match against someone very special, as you can see here through my shoulder injury. But today I'm not here to fight. I'm here to host and judge for you guys. We have a very big match coming up. We have Chance Ellison from the Movie Trivia Schmodown Fan Reaction League. This guy always seems to get a perfect score. Chance, what's up?
Hey, what's up? I'm glad to shed my trivia shell and actually get to argue something for once. So it'll be fun. Let's do this.
Ooh, and now we got Greg, the Einstein Weinstein. How are you doing, mate? You're also coming off of a devastating loss from Worldwide Movie Trivia. Are you ready just to bounce back from everything? Are you good to go? What's your headspace?
Well, the good thing is, I don't have to be unlucky this time. This is all about the argument, and I am a hell of an arguer. And I respect Chance, but if I got to move forward to get further in the championship, Chance is in the way.
Awesome. Well, that is I'm ready to jump into it. Are you guys ready to go?
Yeah,
I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, here we go. Your first question, and we start out with Chance for this one. Question 1. What?
I'm starting.
Mm-hmm.
No, we're starting with Greg.
Oh, we start with Greg. I
Greg.
apologize. We did this in pre-production. This is what happens when you're injured. Question 1: What kids product should have its own movie, like the Lego Movie or the Emoji Movie, or
Well,
some
I
sort?
should correct that. Not like the Emoji Movie. That was awful. But
All right, Greg, what's your pick?
Well, I'm glad you did bring up the Emoji Movie, because when Chance gets to his pick will be awful, just like the Emoji Movie. But my movie, if you think of Fantastic Voyage, you think of how great that movie was, where people try to go into a body to save a person's life, which is what I'm doing with my movie, Operation, where I'm making an animated movie off the board game toy game Operation, where if you don't remember it, it's about a person who has all these different body parts that happen to be different materials. Like he has a wishbone in his actual bone. He has a boot in his arm. He has a ruler in his chest. That's in the actual game. But in my movie, what I'm doing is I'm doing an animated movie, and they're always going to have these morals and these events. So what happens is these two kids who have a dad who always doesn't seem to have time for them. They work with their granddad to go fix what's ailing their dad. And they get miniaturized to go inside and get rid of all of his different maladies that are in his body. And I'll have more to speak as we get into the actual argument.
All right. Great opening statement from Greg. Chance, Greg called you out. What is yours?
I don't appreciate the call, Evan, first of all. Okay, I'm just going to read my pitch for my movie, okay? Okay, so here's the pitch. So the movie starts on Earth present day. A young paleontological assistant named Isaiah, who I envision, we played by Michael B. Jordan, is at a dig site where we find the piece of technology with the word STEP written on it. He takes it back to study it, and he accidentally activates it. A time machine that sends him back 65 million years into the past, where he ends up in the middle of a fight between two different races of aliens. So crash landed on Earth 65 million years ago. And they're now using dinosaurs as weapons. On the good side, you have the Valorians, who are friends with the dinosaurs and see them as evil. The evil side, you have the Rulons, who control the dinosaurs through mind control boxes. And the plot of the movie revolves around Isaiah befriending the Valorians and using his vast knowledge of dinosaurs to aid them in their fight against the Rulons so he can get back to his time. This is Dino Riders, the movie.
Very interesting. Wow. I am going to put a solid 4 minutes on the clock for you guys to absolutely go at each other. May the best man win. 4 minutes on the clock starts now.
Okay, first of all, that just sounded like the most expensive sci-fi movie I've ever seen on the Sci-Fi Channel. You might as well put that up with Sharknado, where you have people just riding around on dinosaurs with these ruons and urons and gluons and whatever the heck you were talking about. It's just even if you wanted to make it as a big budgeted movie, you can look at Battleship. You can look at D&D. These movies cost so much to make, and they don't make their money back. And Battleship and D&D and all these movies were actually name brand. Or look at the movie that just came out this year, King Arthur, which had all these mythological beasts in the movie, and how much of that movie that didn't make. Your movie just isn't going to make anything, and it's not even name brand. No one's heard of Dino Riders.
David, here are Guardians of the Galaxy for 2014. Guardians of the Galaxy, Lego Movie, Harry Potter, all these movies on paper were way too weird to be successful, but they all made their money back in spades.
Guardians of the Galaxy was Marvel. Lego Movie had name brand.
But that doesn't matter, though. That doesn't matter.
That
like,
doesn't
on
matter.
paper, your movie stars a cocky raccoon, a tree, and a third lead of a sitcom. Like, that shouldn't have been, on paper, that should have flopped.
You have a Marvel movie.
Plus,
Marvel's movies always make money. Your movie has no Marvel. Your movie has no name brand recognition. Your movie is just going to cost way too much to actually do anything. Even if you make it into a actual movie that you want to make it, that's like a $200 million movie. And those movies have been failing all year.
You can make a good Dino Riders for like $100 million, but like, look at both. Both of those made a good over a bit at the box office. People love dinosaurs. Jurassic World proved people love dinosaurs doing weird crap. Now, I want to attack your choice real quick. Operation. My product has a built-in story. Operation doesn't have that.
I just gave you my story. Fantastic Voyage.
Fantastic Voyage in the human body. You're playing with death. You want to make light of somebody possibly dying in an animation movie. That's not something you make light of. Medical practice is a theory, and you want to make light of that? Shame on you.
You mean like they've already done in other movies like Osmosis Jones?
No, Osmosis Jones is bad, though. You want Osmosis Jones? That's not a good example for your choice.
I like Osmosis Jones.
Osmosis Jones is bad. Like, Osmosis Jones is a huge flop. You want to talk to me about flops?
And you're talking about movies. You're talking about kids. You're talking about movies where people don't die. Look at Toy Story 3. All of them almost died. The whole point of these movies is that you get. Yes, like just like my movie, where the guy will almost die. He's not going to die. That's the whole point.
Their toys.
It's called life and death situation. It's called real world stakes.
Animation. Nobody wants to go watch a weird
Battleship. Battleship. You have Alexander Skarsgård die in the first 20 minutes. People die all the time in movies.
I didn't hear. What was the Alexander Skarsgård you were just saying?
In Battleship, people die in kids' movies based off kids' toys lines. People die.
And you're bringing up all these flops. Huge flop. Osmosis Jones, huge flop. How is this helping your argument?
Osmosis Jones was not a flop. Battleship is a huge flop, and that hurts your argument because your movie is going to cost just as much as Battleship. My movie is a $60, $70 million animated movie that will easily make its money back. Yours is a $200 million movie.
67 million. Is Illumination making this? Because they're the only ones that put out movies that cost $70 million.
10.
What Pixar movies are that much?
Yeah, Pixar movies cost like $100 million a pop on average.
3, 2, 1. Okay, time. Chance, I want to hear 20 seconds from you before we go into our final arguments. Greg did dominate that argument in time-wise, so I just want to make sure you get a fair chance to fight for yourself. You have 20 seconds. Go.
Hold up, before we do, is this a closing argument? Or
no, this is not. This is just part of your rebuttals. You didn't
get
enough time, so 20 seconds starting now.
Okay, so is ever made. This has mass appeal. People love dinosaurs, and if you manage over tank, that's gonna have even more appeal. If you do it right, I'm talking a good, really good, solid Dino Rider movie. Get Lord and Miller on to direct. This could be one of the weirdest.
Okay, Greg, you have all the time that you want to go into your final argument now.
Okay, people love dinosaurs in Jurassic Park. You look at any other movie, they flopped. His movie will cost way too much. Doesn't have any name brand recognition. So the movies he brought up already had recognition, like Marvel, like Lego Movie. Dino Riders has no name brand recognition, and it just costs too much to make. It just sounds like a very expensive movie that should be for the Sci-Fi Channel. Whereas Operation is a great update retelling of Fantastic Voyage that has the animated awesomeness of two kids and their grandpa trying to save their father and the son of the grandfather, getting through these different maladies, like the stomach is the monster, like their heart is a bank that's locked, the exhaust is lungs, the windpipe. It just has this animated awesomeness and great feel to it that his movie will just crash and burn, just like all the other movies have done that cost way too much for no reason.
Wow. Okay, Chance, your closing statement.
Closing statement. Okay, look, like I said before, Dino-Rad is one of the greatest toy concepts ever created. It just combines dinosaurs with tanks. It doesn't matter if it has name brand recognition or not. If you make a good movie, people will turn out to see it. And I think it has mass appeal. It's a good movie, and if done right, it'll be a fun, action-packed adventure with a really good message about the treatment of animals.
Short and sweet. I like it. Aaron, was there any cleanup that needed to be done there?
Yeah, we have a couple different things. I just kind of picked out what sounded interesting to me and decided to check it. At one point, it was said that Chris Pratt was the third lead of Parks and Rec according to the cast list. He is actually the seventh co-lead and was not added till season 2. You talked about.
I meant third male lead.
I know. I'm just being nitpicky for fun. You talked about Osmosis Jones. Someone said it was a bomb. The other person said it was not. Not counting marketing and with the box office not counting what theaters made off that film, your base numbers, Osmosis Jones cost $70 million and it only made 14 at the worldwide box office. So I think it's safe to say that was a horrific bomb.
Not critically.
Meanwhile, when we turn to Battleship on base level, the budget of that film was $209, was somewhere between $209 and $220. It was never confirmed which one it was, and the box office was $303. So once we add the marketing to that and remove anything the theaters made off that, that movie was either just a very, very minimal success or possibly a bomb. We talked about this year movies with brand recognition bombing, big movies that had any sort of brand recognition on them that flopped. All Eyes on Me had the Tupac name on it, that bombed. Chips bombed. Ghost in the Shell bombed. King Arthur Legend of the Sword bombed. And Power Rangers is also considered a box office bomb. When talking about, you guys mentioned Illumination and Pixar and the cost of animated movies. Illumination is one of the cheapest companies out there with their average cost being around $74 million. Meanwhile, Pixar seems to fall more in the 150 range with their cheapest movie being the first one, Toy Story, and their most expensive films being Toy Story 3, Monsters University, The Good Dinosaur, and Finding Dory, all which top out at $200 million in production budgets. And the final one
Dinosaur cost $250 million.
The final one was
they're making those movies for way too much.
You mentioned that besides Jurassic Park, most dinosaur movies bomb. Because it was thrown out at the last second, I couldn't find any hard facts. However, when I Googled dinosaur movies that flopped, the first headline that came up was a headline from IndieWire with the headline reading, Pixar's first flop is quietly being swept under the rug, and it was talking about The Good Dinosaur. Just an interesting fact.
The movie is bad.
Thank you very much. It wasn't a very hard pick for me, but yet again, I didn't hear points that I wanted to hear per se. But Chance, the biggest thing with your argument is you couldn't really like back up why people would buy into it. If you mentioned Jurassic Park at all, you might have won your argument.
I did.
I wasn't very big or hurt. That's a major point to bring up. Dinosaurs win the box office, and it was kind of difficult to hear something like that. Greg, you absolutely, and here's the thing, Greg, you absolutely destroyed Chance's argument and you took it down to pieces. I wish I would have heard more about your operation story as a whole. That being said, Greg does win this because he just completely made Chance look like a fool, which is sad to say, but it's true. So we're moving on to our second question. You can protest all you want, but I also run this thing, so protesting isn't going to help. Your second question. In honor of Annabelle
I would
creation.
challenge him, except I was too busy Googling where Chris Pratt was listed in Parks and Rec, so.
I swear to God, I swear I said Jurassic Park and Jurassic World made over $1 billion, but whatever. Move on.
That is a fact.
You still would have lost, though. You still would have lost, even with that fact. In honor of Annabelle creation,
fine.
What is the best horror sequel of all time? Chance, the floor is yours.
Okay, so my pick is Dawn of the Dead. So George A. Romero had already revolutionized the horror genre with Night of the Living Dead. People thought it couldn't get better than that, but then along came Dawn of the Dead, which absolutely improved on the first film in almost every way. It's a smarter movie, it's a tighter movie, revolutionized the idea of gore in a horror movie. It's the perfect horror sequel, and I'm prepared to argue more, but I'll listen to what my opponent has to say.
Greg, floor is yours.
And I think this comes down to a very simple argument. I think both me and Chance can agree that his movie, Dawn of the Dead, and Aliens are both great movies. They're both great horror sequels. What my argument is that Aliens is a better horror sequel because it reinvents the Aliens franchise for the better. And every movie has tried to live up to the Aliens peak as the franchise as a whole.
That's simple. Wow, they go short and sweet.
And I do want to say before we get into the fight, if anyone is going to call out a challenge that watches this thing that Aliens doesn't count as a horror sequel because it's not, we wouldn't brand it necessarily as horror. I was the one that approved these answers. So if you have any hate, direct it at me. Just putting that out there.
100% horror.
Yeah, that's my argument.
All right, you ready to go? Your 4 minutes, guys. Dawn of the Dead versus Aliens starts now. 4 minutes, go.
I'll let my opponent start first.
Go ahead, Chance.
Well, I'm going to say it. Aliens took what Ridley Scott did with a claustrophobic horror movie, and James Cameron just added more guns. And that really detracted from the scare value of Alien, which is why I can't necessarily say it is the best horror, scary as the first one. Greg?
And I can definitely disagree with that. Aliens is, in and of itself, it reinvents what Alien movie. Alien, the first one, was just a normal claustrophobic monster versus people stuck in a very confined location, but they were very civilian. It was pretty much a pick-off show that the humans just happened to win. In the second one, you have a multitude of monsters going up against people who are highly trained, who are defended to defeat an alien like this. And not only that, but you have Ripley, who's already dealt with aliens before, and you have actually people going mano a mano. And not only that, the great thing about Aliens is it is one of the only times where you have a badass woman main character going up against a badass woman bad guy with Ripley versus the alien queen. And who doesn't love that line at the end where she goes, "Get your hands off of her, you bitch," with Ripley in that mech suit versus the alien queen at the end, which I would argue beats out any of the scenes in your movie hands down.
No, that is not true. Another thing I'll say about Aliens is that a lot of people would argue that's not even the best Alien movie. A lot of people would argue that Aliens is way better. And yeah, you're right. It did change the Alien franchise as a whole, but a lot of people would argue that for the worse. It turned Ridley Scott's horror baby into an action movie. Now, I'm going to defend Dawn of the Dead for a second.
Nobody argues that at all.
There are a ton of people. Watch Kumail Nanjiani on Movie Fights. He argued that Alien was the best Alien movie, but that's not okay. I want
You look at every list. You look at every list. Aliens is high up on any sequel list in general, not just horror sequel list, just in general sequel list. You look at any horror movie sequel list, it's high up on the sequel list. You look at any James Cameron list, it's one of his, if not his, top movie. Your movie is just a more production cost retread of the first movie. While yes, a great
Are you kidding?
It still involves zombies attacking humans, getting a group of humans into a confined location, and then trying to kill the humans in that confined location.
Oh, Dawn of the Dead has zombies. What a shock. I can't believe they use zombies again in Dawn of the Dead. But let me tell you something.
I'm not saying the zombies is the retread. I'm saying the overall story is the retread. Where you have, again, zombies attacking humans.
Aliens isn't a retread? Aliens is not a retread? They copy and paste the same climax.
Aliens is not a retread at all.
Going out the window.
That's the whole point I made, is that Alien is a one monster versus civilian group who don't know anything about going on. Aliens itself is a huge-ass action horror monster mashup with the alien monster.
You just said it's an action movie. You just admitted it's not a great
action horror monster mashup. That's what made it better.
I want to talk about
different because it was an action horror movie. It was action infused with horror. And anyone who
30
watches that
seconds.
and says they don't get scared by the aliens is just insane and lying.
15
Okay,
seconds.
I spent a good time. I'm gonna defend Dawn of the Dead for a second. So Dawn of the Dead, it's not a retread. It's a big shakeup by putting in the very creative setting of the mall, and it also used that to get some very creative commentary about consumerism and capitalism, corporate greed, and consumer culture. It's a much smarter movie. It's a much better. It revolutionized. Once again revolutionized zombie genre by adding gore. It's all overall better movie. Than
One.
Aliens.
Stop. Wow. Okay, they actually went at it this time. It's good work. Good debating so far. I'm a bit surprised. I'm a bit impressed by the two of you here. That being said,
Good game, Greg.
Do we get closing?
Chance. Yeah.
Closing.
Guys, come on.
Wait, shouldn't
Chance.
Greg go first because I went first last time?
You are going first. You go first. Chance. You ready?
Okay. Aliens.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Go.
Aliens is a great action film, but it's not a very good horror movie, and it's arguably not the best movie in that franchise. Dawn of the Dead does everything a sequel should do. It expands the mythos. It doesn't retread. It's smaller. It's not small. It's smarter, and it still stands the best movie in George Romero's Living Dead series.
Okay. Greg, floor is yours.
There is no argument that Aliens is one of the top two movies of that. It's either Alien or Aliens, and Aliens has a 98% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Alien has a 97%. So critically, Aliens is better overall. It got more in terms of box office. It was just better, and you cannot say that movie did not scare you because those aliens scared you. And Dawn of the Dead is a great movie, and it just involves a similar plot to where zombies trap humans in a single location, and the humans try to escape. It's still a great movie. It did find gore, but Aliens did what no other horror movie sequel did, and it changed up the game of the entire Alien franchise. These movies are both great, but Aliens did more for the Alien movie as a whole than Dawn of the Dead did.
Wow, you guys, I'll go any signal here. You guys made it tough for me. Aaron, do we have any cleanup that we need to do?
Well, not a lot about anything to do with the movies. It's mostly most of my fact checking is just percentages and like ratings and all that stuff. So I'll just run through that real fast. In terms of comparing Night of the Living Dead to Dawn of the Dead, Night of the Living critics wise, Night of the Living Dead is a 96%. Dawn of the Dead got a 92. But I think we can agree those are both really good scores. As Greg had already said, Aliens got a 98 compared to the Alien score of 97. If we're going to look at fan scores, both Aliens and Aliens settle in at a 94%, whereas Night of the Living Dead got an 87% and Dawn of the Dead got a 90%. Greg made a comment at one point saying that many people say Aliens is the best film by James Cameron. And again, obviously, everyone has their own opinion. Rotten Tomatoes. Everyone has their own opinion. Rotten Tomatoes is just an aggregator, but Aliens has a 98%, whereas Terminator has 100%. So critically, that would be James Cameron's best movie. Also, there was a comment made by Greg right there at the very end that Aliens improved on the box office of Alien. That is actually surprisingly incorrect. Worldwide, Alien made $203 million. Aliens only made $183. It did better domestically, but it did not do anywhere near as well worldwide.
I always talk domestically.
Although, if you're looking at Rotten Tomatoes, Indiana Jones, Skull still has a positive rating.
I have to call it out just simply because if we only counted domestic box office, Transformers would have been dead 7 years ago.
Oh God, I wish.
Okay.
Good round, guys. Good round.
Yeah, good round. I think my issue with both of your arguments, and I'll be very clear, you made a bunch of claims and theses. The issue was, one would claim this impacted the Aliens franchise, but I never got to hear how it did or why it did. And when it came down to it, when it came down to it, yes, Chance had fewer points. Chance was able to describe to me how Dawn of the Dead was a better sequel and how it was smarter than something like Aliens and how it was a better horror film than Aliens. Well, yes, we did accept it as an answer. Chance was able to tackle down how Aliens wasn't necessarily that scary compared to something like Dawn of the Dead. Hence why Chance is going to get the point. That was a hard decision to make. I will be very honest.
I can go home now.
That's horrible.
Before we start, can I say something? Aliens is my favorite alien movie.
Yeah, I know it is. It's everyone's.
That hurt. That hurt me inside.
All right.
I was gonna say, like, we're arguing about two really good movies here. I don't think anybody should go home.
Yeah, I know.
I said
You know
that at the
what? I
beginning.
almost won Evil Dead 2, but I felt Dawn of the Dead was I got to go with the heart. Dawn of the Dead.
All right, your next question, everyone. Some fun banter here. What actor, actress, or director would we like to see make a comeback? Greg, the floor is yours.
Okay, I don't even know why we're having an argument about this. His person was Eddie Murphy, who literally had a movie out last year and who has
Spoiler alert
lined up.
Hey, talk about your
Hold on.
He is not retired.
This is not fair. This is not fair. We have accepted the answer. Greg, I want to hear
No,
your
I can still argue it. It doesn't matter if you accepted it. I can still argue it.
No. Okay. Going into this question, we have to accept that there are multiple different versions of a comeback.
Right.
And the reason I accept it is, yes, Eddie Murphy is still technically a working actor, but let's be honest with ourselves. When's the last time we saw something and said, that was a good Eddie Murphy movie? Because his Academy Award
I would like to
nomination
get
was
into that
10
with
years
my
ago.
argument.
Okay.
All right, that's fair.
Mine later.
You're attacking him before he's even had a chance to speak. Just do your opening and then attack him.
I can attack him and do it at the same time.
No, you can't. Talk about your choice, Greg.
You said his choice before you
Anyway.
said your own.
Yes, like people do all the time in movie fights.
All right, go for it.
Look, just talk,
Anyway,
go.
So I don't know why Eddie Murphy is even accepted, but it's mute because the reason that the people we really want to come back are good actors. And Gene Hackman is one of the greatest actors of our generation. And he hasn't been working for 13 years, and that is a shame. And I have reasons for why he should come back, and even a good reason, even a good movie for what he should have came back for when my argument comes up. But Gene Hackman from Hoosiers, from French Connection, from Unforgiven, has so much more movies he should have been able to do, and it's a shame that he didn't do more when he retired 13 years ago.
Okay, very good points. Very good thesis there. Let's throw it over to Chance. I guess we were spoiled.
Okay, well, yeah, you know my choice is Eddie. Okay, so I'll still do my opening anyways. Okay, so in the 80s and 90s, one of the biggest names, not just in comedy, but entertainment in general, was Eddie Murphy. The dude was a hit with both the box office and with critics pulling out hit after hit. But the 2000s happened and his career took a nosedive. Since the year 2000, he's had only 4 movies crack 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. And he did get nominated for an Oscar, but literally cost himself a win by putting out Norbit. Eddie Murphy is an incredible talent, and he is perfectly poised to make an awesome comeback.
Okay, well, you guys know the drill. You guys will start your 4-minute throat attack. As Mark Ellis would say, give me that throat in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
Yeah, he's right. We would love for Eddie Murphy to make a comeback. I would
win. There we
love
go.
for Adam Sandler to make a comeback. I would love
No,
for
you
Jim
wouldn't.
Carrey to make a comeback. Do you know what? Those people who did those movies in the 80s and 90s, they don't seem to have it anymore. Adam Sandler's last movies have sucked. Jim Carrey's last few movies have sucked. Eddie Murphy has not had a good movie since Dreamgirls 2006. And ever since he lost that Oscar, he's refused to even care. Norbit, 1,000 Words, Meet Dave. These movies suck. And we're talking about a movie, even when he tried to do a good drama movie like Mr. Church, it had 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's horrible. That was a movie last year. And you know the movies he has currently in the pipeline? The sequel to Twins with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito. Who wants to see a movie with Eddie Murphy, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Danny DeVito 20 years after the original? Gene Hackman should have come back with Nebraska when Alexander Payne wrote the role for him in Nebraska and tried so hard to get him back. That is what should have reclaimed him to what he should have done for the last 13 years. And I know he did a lot of movies. He had his time to retire, but he is just a great actor, and I want to see him do more movies.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm going to defend Eddie Murphy real quick. But like, did you see Mr. Church?
Yes.
You did?
Yeah, it was a saccharine plot movie where the quote-unquote mystical black guy tries to help the little white girl again.
But Eddie Murphy was really good in that. So he's demonstrated that he has still got it. The dude's got range. And like, if he comes back, he doesn't have to do a comedy. He can do drama. He can do like a dark thriller. He can do a multitude of things. Now,
look at his pipeline. Look at his time. Look at what he has. Look at what he has on IMDb. He has triplets on next. You know what he has after that? Beverly Hills Cop.
I don't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. It's on IMDb. Anybody can put anything on IMDb.
He's committed to them. He wants to do Beverly Hills Cop 4 when that movie, the last movie was the worst one of the series, was what, 25 years ago? And after we've seen movies have such a long break, they don't come back and do good. Look at Dumb and Dumber, 20-year break. It was not good.
Okay, well,
basically, it's basically Adam Sandler at this point. They're not making good movies.
Less than 2 minutes.
But he doesn't have to do a comedy. He can come back and do other stuff. I want to talk about Gene Hackman for a second. So, what are the keys to a successful comeback? You look like RDJ, Kurt Russell, Ben Affleck, Matthew McConaughey, Michael Keaton. The key to a successful comeback is either being back and better than you ever were, or doing something you've never done before. Gene Hackman had a span over 40 years. We've seen him do just about everything, and we've already seen the best he has to offer. So I don't know what he can come back and do. And like you said, he hasn't made movies since 2004. We don't know if he can even act anymore. And also, the dude's 90 years old. He's already going to get pigeonholed in old man grandpa role. So there's not really much for him to come back to.
1 minute.
I just said what he could come back to, which was a movie about an old man who got nominated for an Oscar.
But that movie already got made, though. Like, it already happened.
I'm trying to make an argument for why he should come back. He had his moment to come back. I'm saying there are movies like that he can come back for. And you look at, you're talking about old men. Look at Robert Redford in Captain America: Winter Soldier. He was
Nobody thought that Robert Redford in Captain America: Winter Soldier. Nobody came out of Winter Soldier and said, "Oh, you know what? That Robert Redford was really good." No, nobody said that.
No one said he was bad.
Really
30 seconds.
Everyone said Robert Redford was great. It was a great new role for him. Look at Tommy Lee Jones in the first Captain America. There are plenty of movies where these old people come back and do great things. Look at Max von Sydow and Extremely Loud. Max von Sydow and Extremely Loud, Incredibly Close. There are plenty of great roles for old men to come back to. And you look at the Bad Grandpa series with Danny Trejo and Danny Glover. There are plenty of roles old people can come back to. Why are you being so ageist?
6.
Bad Grandpa. Oh, you mean Badasses with Danny Glover? Those great DVD movies that nobody watches.
I didn't mean Badasses. Yes.
Badasses.
Okay.
Nobody watches those movies.
That being it, I need to hear approximately 15 more seconds from Chance. Just the same routine as last time. Greg likes to talk, which is perfectly fine. It is called Movie Fights. 15 seconds starting now.
Okay, Gene Hackman had a very distinguished career, over 40 years, 2 Oscar wins. He hit his peak. If you saw him at the church, Eddie Murphy shows that he had comedy chops that he had in the past and the range he had in the Dreamgirls. He still got it. And he still has enough time to range that he doesn't have to do comedy to come back to do drama or a thriller.
Okay, Greg, your final argument begins now.
Yeah, Gene Hackman was great for 40 years. There's no reason he can't be great for another 20 years. He's a great actor. You don't lose that. If you've seen any of his movies, you go from French Connection to The Hoosiers to Royal Tenenbaums, which is one of his last movies. He is just a great actor. He can do intimidating. He can do smarmy. He can do comedy. He's done it all. He had a chance to come back, and I wish he would have taken it. I want to see him do more movies because he's so good. And Eddie Murphy, I love Eddie Murphy. He was great, but he doesn't have it anymore. None of his movies that he tried with Dreamgirls, he gave it a great shot. He was really pissed off when the Oscars didn't give it to him, and then he started doing bad movies again, and he's just in the whole Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey territory where they're just making bad movies after bad movies after bad movies.
Okay. Chance.
What am I doing? Am I talking more?
Finish your final argument.
Okay, anyways, like I was saying, like he can come back to do a drama, do a thriller, detective movie, an action movie. He has so many possibilities. There's so many more possibilities with Eddie Murphy than you will ever get with 87-year-old Gene Hackman.
Okay. Aaron, any cleanup? Oh, you're muted, sir.
That would help. Okay, so I muted just so any background noise doesn't get in there. Okay, so talking about the actors, you guys did mention their Oscar nominations. Gene Hackman has 5. He won twice in 1971 for French Connection and in 1992 for Unforgiven. Eddie Murphy, of course, has the 1 nomination for Dreamgirls, and it's even though obviously this is something we cannot confirm, it is widely considered that the Oscars did not give it to him because Norbit came out around that same time and it just soured the taste.
Yeah.
Greg said the last good movie that Eddie Murphy was in was Dreamgirls. However, according to Rotten Tomatoes, the last movie he appeared in...
Tower Heist.
Yes, Tower Heist did get a positive score of 67 in 2011. He was an actor and producer in that. Again, maybe it's just what I was researching, but according to this, the role of the movie we're referencing was Nebraska. The role was not written for Gene Hackman. It was...
Yes, it was.
From what I was able to find, it was that the script was written by Bob Nelson, was given to Alexander Payne. Payne had first thought of Bruce Dern, but Paramount wanted a bigger name actor, with Gene Hackman's name being in that group of actors being considered. However, he was pulled out after he was retired and maintained that he was retired. Obviously, there are lots of different articles and not enough time for me to go through and research that, but that's just what I was able to find on it. Eddie Murphy, according to IMDb, which again is not a confirmed source just because anybody can go in there and edit, but using this along with other research I did, he has 3 projects currently in development. Triplets is in active pre-production, according to quotes from Arnold Schwarzenegger, could be filming as soon as late this year. That was said in April of 2017. God, I hope it doesn't. He's also attached to the Richard Pryor biopic playing Leroy Pryor, and is technically attached as Axel Foley to Beverly Hills Cop 4. However, the last development on that was at least a year ago when Brett Ratner dropped from directing, so we don't know where that is at in terms of its development or if it will get made. Bruce Dern is 87 years old, so I don't think there's a chance he's, as much as we'd want it, I don't think he has another 20 years left in him. That's just human nature, unfortunately. And I couldn't do a quick...
Don't count him out, man.
I couldn't do a quick...
I think you meant,
I wasn't able to...
You meant Gene Hackman. You said Bruce Dern.
I was not able to finish...
He meant Gene Hackman, but don't count Gene Hackman out.
I know. And Gene Hackman's great. And then I was not able to do the Adam Sandler fact check, but you compared Eddie Murphy to being in a hole of Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler of not making good movies. The last positively reviewed film that Jim Carrey released was I Love You, Philip Morris in 2010. So technically speaking, Eddie Murphy made a good film. Last good film was after Jim Carrey's good film, but it has been long enough that yes, you could say he is in the same hole as them. Adam Sandler, I don't know, that's like 1999.
Look, I was kind of on the edge, and then the final arguments came, and it just kind of ruined it for somebody. Chance, you literally said nothing during your final argument, hence why Greg is going to get the point. You said zip.
What are you talking about?
Your final argument was shorter than 10 seconds, and the floor is yours whenever you have those. So Greg does win it. He is up right now 2-1 as we move into our final question before the speed round, and it goes as such. What Stephen King novel should be adapted next following It, the movie It? Chance, the floor is yours.
A year ago I would have said The Dark Tower, but that's already happened. So my answer is The Stand. Now, The Stand is the 6th book ever published by King, and it tells the story of a world where weaponized version of the flu has wiped out most of humanity. And the book is pretty much about this last stand between good and evil, the good side led by this woman named Mother Abigail, and the bad side led by the man named Randall Flagg. This is one of King's more famous novels, and surprisingly hasn't had a feature film adaptation. There's a TV miniseries and a comic book, but as of yet, no movie. And I could see a really good 2 to 3 movie adaptation of The Stand being made.
Okay. Nice. Greg, you're good to go.
I have so many things to say about that, but my movie is Dr. Sleep. It was a book that Stephen King thought about a few years ago when he read a news article about a cat that could predict patients' death. And then he decided that it was a high time to rediscover one of his greatest books, one of the greatest movies, The Shining. And he took an adult Danny and brought along with him a girl who also turned out has the Shining ability. And you deal with Danny, who obviously after the effects of The Shining is just completely warped. He's drugged. He's on alcohol. He's barely doing anything with his life. And then this girl comes along who happens to have the same abilities, and they have to try and stop this occult leader from destroying what there is and using The Shining to get through. And this looks like a great opportunity. We get Jake Gyllenhaal in the older Danny role. We get Daphne Keane or Maisie Williams in the young girl role. Her name is Astra, and we have this great little girl trying to get redemption. A la the Wolverine. but we have this great sequel to a great movie, Shining, but we're not beholden to Shining because it's a completely different movie 30 years later. That is Dr.
All right,
Sleep.
I like both ideas. Like I said again, you guys have 4 minutes to slit each other's throat. Please don't do that because that is not a good thing. But go right ahead. 4 minutes starts
That
now.
will get us blocked if you slit each other's throat.
Yeah.
I will
I'm so glad that you mentioned the Dark Tower, because the Dark Tower is the exact reason why your idea should be made into a mini series. The Dark Tower went through 5-6 years, many different directors, writers trying to crack it, and then we got that crap movie 2 weeks ago that just butchered the Dark Tower mythology into an hour and a half, and now we're not going to get any sequel or any kind of follow up on it. The Stand has been trying to be made since 2011 with David Yates and Stephen Kloves, with Ben Affleck, with Steve Cooper, with Josh Boone. All of these people have tried and failed to make a movie adaptation of The Stand, and you know why it doesn't work? Because it's a 900-page book that has a huge mythology and should just be a TV series on Starz or HBO or Cinemax, because that's what it needs to fully engross in the book. Because it is a great book, it just needs a long-form storytelling, and The Dark Tower proves that you cannot do that in a movie form.
Okay, well, you bring up Dark Tower. The problem with Dark Tower was it was not an adaptation of just one book. It was an amalgamation of the whole series, which that's the problem it had with the whole adaptation. The Stand, yeah, I said in the argument, you can make like 2 or 3 Stand movies. It doesn't have you can pound out The Stand in like a good.
You can make as many movies as you want. If the first one doesn't make any money, it's not going to get more than one movie.
That's why you make one good chapter, and then like I'll let it coming out next week. That's only part 1. A lot of people don't know that. So if that does big business, then they will then make part 2. So, and also we have a. I'll let you go. Go ahead.
The difference between it and Dark Tower and The Stand is that it has 2 distinct storylines with the young kids and the adult kids, whereas The Stand and Dark Tower has a much huger mythology behind it that requires a more expansive storytelling opportunity like a TV series. Stand is a great book that needs to be a TV series, not a movie, because The Dark Tower proves that.
You know what has a big mythology made into a movie? Lord of the Rings. And that's one of the best trilogies of all time. It doesn't matter if you have a big mythology. You can make a good, solid 2-3 movies based and still properly adapt the book. Now, I want to attack Dr. Sleep real quick. Dr. Sleep, you're talking about revisiting the world of The Shining, which is arguably the best Stephen King adaptation. You're trying to replicate Kubrick. And who's asking for a sequel to The Shining? Who walked out of The Shining and say, hey, you know what? What's next?
Stephen King did.
Give me Maximum Overdrive.
Stephen King decided to make the sequel to The Shining, and then he posted as a Twitter poll the year before he made the book. He asked, do people want me to write Dr. Sleep, or do they want me to write a new chapter in the Dark Tower series? And Dr. Sleep won.
One more minute.
You could run in problems, though, because King admittedly was not a fan of the Kubrick version. You could run a risk of making so different from the Kubrick version that you run the risk of retroactively making The Shining. Nobody wants to go down that road.
How would you make The Shining worse? The Shining stands on its own. It's already a good movie.
But look at what the prequels did for the original trilogy. We kind of tainted those movies. The Stand is something new. It's something we haven't seen on this scale. It has a built-in fan base from many different mediums. And it has a good message from the world for the world of unity, and all that petty shit doesn't matter, because in the end, it is just good versus the bad.
Yes, and that you don't have time for in a movie. Yeah, Lord of the Rings worked, but there have been many other ones like King Arthur. Again, I'll bring it up again. That was thought to be a 5-movie thing, but it's not going to be now because the movie sucked. Dark Tower was supposed to have many movies, but it's not going to because the first one sucked.
5.
To get to these movies, you have to have the first one successful. Make a TV series.
1. Done. Chance, I would give you some more time because Greg likes to talk, obviously, but what you did, you gave him the floor to speak, so I cannot give you more time in theory. So, Aaron, any pickup?
Closing?
Yeah, do you want to give him closing arguments first?
Oh, I apologize for that. Guys, it's been a long day. Here we go. Greg, your closing argument, please.
As I said, The Stand is a great book. It has a great mythology. It needs to be a TV series. It's the same reason why we're so glad that Game of Thrones is a TV series, because we want to see it all the way through. The Stand should be a TV series because The Dark Tower proved that you can't have such a huge mythology adapted unless you complete the first movie and you make it good. And Hollywood has proven that you can't make that good. They failed. It is not tarnishing The Shining. And Stephen King asked the people what they wanted, and he got a sequel to The Shining. He wanted to do this. And it's 30 years later. The only person bringing it is Danny Torrance. You get Frank Darabont to do a new movie with Dr. Sleep, and you have a great movie that has a much smaller mythology and can be a great building for a great older man, middle-aged man, younger girl, save the world, defeat, and use their shining gifts, like Jake Gyllenhaal and Daphne Keane in this movie, which would be a great movie, and it would be a one-off that is not so huge that it needs it more.
All right, Chance, the floor is yours.
Your entire argument hinges on my first movie being bad, but you don't know that. You're not making it. It's not even made. The first movie, I'm not saying all three movies are going to be good. It could be a really great trilogy that could rival something like Lord of the Rings. It's one of King's most well-known novels, has not been adapted to this scale, and of all the King books that deserve an adaptation, this is it.
Okay, I like the unintentional pun there. But
Nice. I didn't even know it.
that being said, any cleanup, Aaron?
Yeah, if you guys will indulge me for a minute, because I got very interested in reading these, because both these films have had, or both these books have had a history of film production. So just to run through the facts and clean up some of the Stephen King mythology here, for those of you who may not be aware, Randall Flagg is just another name for is another name or alias for the character of Walter O'Dim, or the Man in Black, who is played by Matthew McConaughey in The Dark Tower. In the mythology of the books, this is the same character that crosses over. Going into, you guys mentioned talking about The Dark Tower and where that stands, using it in comparison to where The Stand could go as a franchise. As of now, where The Dark Tower is headed, a TV series is confirmed to be in production. Walking Dead Season 2 showrunner Glenn Mazzara is showrunning it. Idris Elba, Tom Taylor, and Dennis Haysbert have all been confirmed to return as their characters from the movie, and Matthew McConaughey's involvement is not confirmed, but it is possible. In addition, with an interview from Collider, King confirmed that the sequel is still in some form of development, and later director Nikolai Arcel confirmed that the book, if the sequel did get made, that it would be based off the book The Drawing of Three, and that Elba, McConaughey, and Taylor are all contracted to reprise their roles within a sequel. The likelihood of that getting made, we don't know yet. As of now, at box office, the film cost $60 million pre-marketing, and it's currently made $53.6 worldwide. So it'll be a stretch for it to hit there. It was said, again, I may have misheard, but it was said earlier that The Stand had never been adapted. That is actually incorrect. The Stand was given a 4-episode miniseries adaptation in 1994. It starred Gary.
I said not film adapted. I said no film.
Okay, that's fair. It did star Gary Sinise, Miguel Ferrer, and Rob Lowe, and starred Jamie Sheridan in that same role as Randall Flagg. Now, both these movies, like I said earlier, have had film adaptation involvement. As Greg gave the quick rundown on the history of The Stand, it started out in 2011 with Harry Potter filmmakers David Yates and Steve Kloves. The two moved on in October of 2011 when Yates felt the film would work better as a miniseries. From there, Affleck picked up and took over the project. However, he left due to commitments with Batman. Then Scott Cooper of Crazy Heart fame picked up. He later dropped out due to creative differences with the studio. In 2014, Fault in Our Stars director Josh Boone picked up the project. And under him, it was rumored that Christian Bale was going to play Randall Flagg and McConaughey was going to play the character of Stu Redman. The last known info on that was in November of 2014. However, we can assume that film is no longer in production, as Boone has since moved on to New Mutants. And in June of 2015, it was announced that the film would be adapted, that the book would be adapted into an 8-part miniseries. However, in February of 2016, it was put on hold with the rights reverting back to Warner Brothers Pictures for them to look at making a film adaptation of it. Dr. Sleeps is not near as complicated. However, it was in a report that was released, if I can find the year, in April of 2016. The book was optioned for a film adaptation, and Akiva Goldsman, who had worked with Stephen King. What's his name? I forgot.
Stephen
King. Wow, I'm stupid.
Stanley King wrote that, not it.
Stanley Kubrick. That's what I was reading. I have Kubrick in front of me. Stephen King. He did work with Stephen King on The Dark Tower. Akiva Goldsman is also known for writing A Beautiful Mind and Batman and Robin. I just love saying that because it's such a crazy difference. However, nothing has since been reported since April of 2016. There was no cast or director ever confirmed. It was just announced that the option had been given out. Also, one last fact check, which doesn't really matter anymore. I just thought I'd say it because then you later did pick an actor. At first, Greg listed two different actresses, Daphne Keane and Maisie Williams. Daphne Keane is 11 years old and Maisie Williams is 20 years old. There's a huge difference there. But you did.
He plays young.
To give him credit, he did stick with Daphne Keane by the end of the argument, and he stuck with her from there on out. So I'm not going to use that as a negative against him. As soon as you said those two names, I'm like, they are nowhere near the same. I gave that a quick search.
She plays young.
I wasn't even going to bring that up, because it's a really weird point to bring up, like what wishful thing.
Also,
okay.
Just because I closed off tabs, we do have Isaac Corvette watching. He said, I actually like The Dark Tower, and King Arthur was awesome. I will fight you. Who dissed King Arthur?
King Arthur was actually pretty cool. I'll be honest, King Arthur was pretty cool.
King Arthur wasn't that bad.
Which is a shame. Okay, so
I don't think it's not good. I'm saying it didn't make
I
money.
need you to listen, guys. I'm the judge here, and I'm controlling this ship. Look, Chance, you gave a good fight, but your thing was, you gave no reason. Like you said, but you can't. But you're like, you're not on set. You don't know if it'll be bad or not. Issue being is, you're not on set. You don't know if the film's going to be good. And I didn't hear enough from you on why the film is going to be good. You kept saying trilogy, but time after time again, we keep seeing why trilogies are failing, or this whole Power Rangers thing is failing. And let's be honest. Let's be honest here. Power Rangers is a lot more popular than the brand that you're talking about. Hence why Greg gets this point. Greg is up 3-1. We go into our speed round. This could be the match point.
Speed round. Chance has to hit all three of these to win the match now.
Yes.
So if Greg gets
is everyone ready for the speed round?
Game over.
Yeah. Is everyone ready for the speed round?
It's not a knockout, though, so that's why I'm happy about that.
No, it is not a knockout.
Is everyone ready?
Okay, I'm happy about that.
Is everyone ready?
I lasted longer than Sabra's Sherman. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Damn.
You will get 10 seconds. You will get 20 seconds for your first claims, and then 10 seconds for your rebuttals. First one to say their answer gets their answer and is first up. Question 1. What character are you most excited to see in Justice League?
Aquaman.
Greg got it first. Chance.
What? I said it first, but my connection's slower. I'll say the Flash.
Flash. Okay. Greg, 20 seconds starts now.
Aquaman, played by Jason Momoa, just looks like a badass. He dominated that trailer. We've seen the big hitters like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Now we want to see someone new like Aquaman because he's just so cool. He's so rad. And I've really appreciated to see like they're going to make Aquaman cool again and not have just a whole Family Guy talk with the fish thing. And James Wan is a great kickoff for him.
Stop. Chance to save yourself and your life. 3, 2, 1, go.
You want to talk about stealing the Justice League trailer, the Flash. In that first trailer, the best moment in the trailer was when Batman was talking to the Flash. And he's like, hey, can I keep this? You're Batman. Why are you in my chair? The Flash looks like he's going to be the Spider-Man, like the Spider-Man version of this universe. He's going to be that relatable character. He's going to be the funniest. It looks like he's going to be the heart of the movie. And I cannot wait to see Ezra Miller's interpretation of the Flash.
Okay. That was exactly 20 seconds. Very surprising. Greg, 10 seconds. Go.
The problem with the Flash is we've already seen so much of the Flash with Grant Gustin on the Great Flash show, whereas Aquaman can just be so cool with, hey, here's a bat. Hey, I'm just going to jump off and kill someone with my trident. Ezra Miller's done.
Okay. Chance to save yourself. 10 seconds. Go.
If you look at the audience the Flash TV has and movie has, it's going to have a much bigger audience. And talking about Aquaman, Aquaman is so irredeemable to people's eyes, and this is not a very faithful adaptation that a lot of people are going to be looking for.
Stop. Aaron, we don't really need fact checking here because it's very opinionated and it's not. No. Who do you think got this?
It is close.
It's close.
I'm gonna edge slightly towards Chance because because maybe it's just because I missed something, but all I heard from Greg was more just the character is going to be a badass, which I completely agree with. Whereas I thought Chance talked a little bit more about the actual character intricacies of what Ezra Miller could bring to the role. And also, he did have the hit back of, a lot of people might not see this as a faithful adaptation of the character, and that could hit it. But it is a very subjective question. You guys both gave good arguments. I'm just going to lean slightly towards Chance on this one.
Just depicting it by facts, the easiest answer here was Chance for winning because he brought up a specific point, hence why he gets the point. He brought up a specific instance in the trailer that he's very excited
I
for.
brought up the instances in the trailer.
He did, but hey, don't debate the point.
I brought up 2 when he says, dressed like a bat, and then when he jumps off the Batmobile with the trident.
And Aaron, I still think Chance did a better job with the argument. I completely apologize if you feel differently. If you want to protest, I will put you on trial another day.
You're still winning, Greg.
Unbelievable.
You're about to win.
Now
this
you know how
match,
I felt.
So you're about to win this match, so I would stop talking.
Hey, bias.
Okay.
Fix.
Yeah, please don't say that. Please, God.
I apologize. Okay, your second.
If I lose now, you know why, folks.
Hey, be quiet, everyone. Your second speed round question.
No,
what is the best?
We take it to the last question, then give them the win. Duh.
Of course. What is the best? This is your question. Be ready, guys. What is the best Spider-Man of the 3?
What?
What is the best
Wait,
portrayed?
That was poorly worded by me. What is the best Spider-Man
Tom Holland.
on the screen?
Tom Holland.
What is the question?
What is the best Spider-Man out of the 3 we've seen on screen?
Oh, what is the portrayal?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's what I said.
I'll go with Garfield.
Okay. Chance, you go first. Starting now.
Tom Holland is the perfect amalgamation. He's younger. He's a teen. He's in high school. He's a nerd. He's a relatable character, which is what we all love about Spider-Man to
10
begin
seconds.
with. This is when we finally got Spider-Man right. It's the youth amalgamation of Spider-Man,
5,
as opposed to Andrew Garfield,
4,
who looks like
3,
a cool
2,
wallflower
1.
Spider-Man guy.
Stop. All right, Greg. 20 seconds. Go.
Garfield was the best Spider-Man in the worst movies, but he made those movies what they were. Nobody would be talking about them if it wasn't for Andrew Garfield, because he just made the Spider-Man
10
character as a cool-looking nerd that when he got his powers, he made him seem fun, as opposed to Tobey Maguire, who made him seem boring. Tom Holland, who's just riding off the Marvel RDJ code hubs.
All right, Chance, your rebuttal. 10 seconds. Go.
He's not writing his own coattails. He was the standout in Civil War. And Andrew Garfield, a lot of people complain about that. He's too cool. He's good looking. He's too good looking. He would not be the guy who gets picked on in high school. He would be like the captain football team, prom king.
Stop. Greg, your chance to close it out. 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh, yeah, and the 8-pack to Tom Holland is bad looking. And the fact that he was a standout in the Civil War just because of the battle, not because of what he did. Andrew Garfield was just great in what he did.
Stop. Aaron, I think I know a way that I'm leaning. What's your pick, though?
See, for the moment, I was leaning towards Chance because he did hit on a point that a lot of people agree with. Andrew Garfield was very much a pretty boy. That's not a bad thing. But, that doesn't necessarily make it believable for Spider-Man. But then Greg did hit back with the fact that Tom Holland is a 20, not 20, he's 20 years old. He has an 8-pack or a 6-pack or whatever, grouping of abs you would like to say that he has. So that point kind of mutes out for me. So I think what I'm going to hit with is I'm going to go with Greg because I think that first argument of the initial argument of Andrew Garfield gave a good Spider-Man portrayal in a bad movie, and the only reason we still talk about those films is simply because he carries them through. Even though I think The Amazing Spider-Man is the best of the movies, I don't agree that it's a bad film like a lot of people say. I think the argument and the points he gave supporting it were enough for me to give him the point here.
I agree, and that is our winner. Look,
I got fixed.
Yeah, you can call a fix all you want, but you have two of the people who run the league right here. So if you want to try that, I'm more than willing to put you on trial.
No,
I'm more than willing to do
man.
that.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, okay. I'm just letting you know I'm more than willing because I have dealt with something that has been a lot worse before. So, but yeah, it was a great match. I'm happy that you guys had fun with it through your poor phone connections. But hey, you got to deal with what you got to deal with, and that's the beautiful internet. So I want to thank Greg for coming on, Chance for coming on, and Aaron for coming on as well. Aaron, do you have any last words?
Yeah, well, obviously, just because I have all the stats and stuff right up in front of me, so I am going to be doing, if you guys are watching this, we are going to be recording, I'm going to be recording the video about how the ranking system for the league is going to work. Just for sake of spoilers, I'm not going to include you guys in that because I don't want to potentially spoil anything about the match before the match goes up officially on the YouTube channel. But I did this in the last match. So I thought I'd do it again because I'm here. Because I have the list in front of me of who's playing who. With Chance being the unfortunate loser here and Greg being the winner. You guys are going to each play the respective winner and loser of the Linus Babcock versus the Max Vincente match. Who do you guys want to face out of those two? Both of you. I'll let Chance go first. Who would you like to see out of that match? If you know either of them.
We cannot hear Chance.
You there, Chance?
I can go while he's fixing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead, Greg.
First, I want to say great match, Chance. It was a hard-fought victory. Great arguing. I know Linus a little bit better, so I'd like to go up against Linus there. Seemed like it'd be a great match. I just want to say I appreciate you having me on. It was a great match, and we might give you crap for your argument, but we know it's all subjective and fun. And I appreciate the judging and the fact checking and everything. It was great, a lot of fun match.
Are we gonna get any more of Chance? I guess not. The man has gone incognito.
He's still there. His audio is just not.
No.
Okay, so well, I'm gonna say let's give Chance a minute, see if we can get it figured out. While we're doing this, Greg, is there anything you want to plug? Where can people find you?
Yes, please check out my YouTube channel, Debating the Dials, where we talk about different TV news. Whenever I get the chance, I'm looking to expand my roster of guests who will be on the show. So if you want to be a guest on my Debating the Dials TV talk show, please message me either on here or on my YouTube channel. You can also message me at debatingthedials@gmail.com and find me there. And also check out the Movie Battleground Facebook group and all the other different trivia Facebook movie stuff that we all do. It's a lot of fun, and everyone should join on.
All right, Chance, were you able to get it figured out, or?
All right, I'll give Chance a few more seconds. I got to do this. This match has been released. I had to double check stuff. You know how crazy this page can get, and we are past the spoiler ban as well. This match has been out for a while. I just always got to double check. Look, Gregory. Sorry, I should not call you Gregory. Greg. Greg hosted this match a while back. It was Luca versus Chris Clark, and I would like to say, I trained Chris Clark for that match. He was not a good fighter, but then he gave a fight versus Luca Fallon.
Did you tell him to use the everything is bullshit technique?
No. I did not. I'm not like that way. I did give him the Brad Bird answer. Matter of facts, by the way.
Bird.
Oh, we had a discussion about that.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was why, Evan. You screwed him.
He got that point.
He got the point. He got the point.
Oh, he did? I forgot.
That was Luca's fault. That was Luca's fault.
Yeah, Luca.
Yeah, that was Luca.
Luca
had
didn't
that in the
argue
bag.
enough. He didn't argue against Brad Bird.
That is my point. My point being is I killed Subrat. He got shredded to pieces. That's going to happen to you, Luca. A man, Chris Clark, who is barely worthy to do something like this. And you know what? He made it viable. And that should scare the living crap out of you, Luca. You are going down whenever we play. So you should be shivering in your pants as you're about to crap yourself. All right, Chance, any last thoughts?
Any last thoughts or anything I want to plug?
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
If you're part of the Movie Trivia Schmodown Fan Reaction League, you probably see me a lot. I'm also part of the Knockout Cup I am vying to win the Knockout Cup. You can also follow me on Twitter at chancewars_91. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel because I'm going to start my review show very soon. That should be really fun. And thank you guys for having me on. This is a lot of fun. I enjoyed it.
Awesome. And you guys can find me on Instagram at Aaron T. Knoll. Of course, if you guys are watching this for the first time, follow us on Movie Battleground at Facebook. If anyone's watching this who is not scheduled for a match or would like to be scheduled, just private message me and I'll add you guys to the list. We're not going to be taking new fighters for a little while just because we're all booked out for a while. We don't want to put ourselves too far ahead, but if you guys are interested in a match, just let me know. I'll add you to the list, and we'll start bringing in new people when we get the opportunity because we already have a lot of new people. We're starting right off the bat now.
Which we appreciate. We totally appreciate it, but we're like, you have to realize with Worldwide Movie Trivia, while we want to have as many people in as possible, we are also still building a league. And it's the same thing here with World War Movies. We are still building a
Are you sure about that?
I take by Movie Battleground. We are still building a league. There's
you plug something else
everywhere. Things happen. With that being said, you can follow me at EvanDeGraff15 on Twitter.
Also, can I say one more thing? One more thing. Good game, Greg. Pound it right there.
Okay, that was
Great game, buddy.
Good game, man. That was fun. I hope to face you again.
Close up the show.
Bye, everybody.